In this video, we're going to be discussing the hidden purpose behind your ministry website and why it's holding your church back from growth both online and in person. Hello and welcome. My name is Brett Henderson with Clickmill.co. So I work with ministry leaders all of the time, and one of the most common misconceptions that I hear from both media teams and pastors is the idea that, well, if our ministry website is beautiful, if it's graphically designed and, visually appealing, then somehow it is successful. That is what it should be. Unfortunately, this is not the case. This is not true. Beauty is uncorrelated with whether or not your site is a success. Now, of course, it's nice to have a beautiful website, but in the same way that a beautiful person is successful, some beautiful people are successful, some beautiful people are unsuccessful, but it's the same thing with a website. Just because your website looks nice, it doesn't mean people know what to do. It doesn't mean that the next step for them is clear and it's easy to engage with your ministry. No, beauty just means it looks nice. And so that said, what is the purpose behind your website? What is the hidden purpose? What is the thing that your website should be doing? Be a successful ministry website. Now, I'll speak in broad strokes because obviously, depending on the structure of your ministry, this may not be the case, but I would say for 99% of ministries, this is the case. The purpose of your website is to get contact information from your website users. So name, email, phone number. And I think that this is oftentimes a little bit off-putting for ministry leaders, at least as I talk with them, because the purpose is to get new people to church, people who haven't been to church, right? Is to grow the new user base of the church and then to disciple the people who are already at the church and to continue growing them in their faith and bringing them to the core of the church. And I would disagree because the purpose of your overall marketing strategy, I'm making a distinction here, your overall marketing strategy should do that. Okay, one piece of your marketing strategy, your website, is not responsible for the whole thing, right? Now, you have other parts of your marketing strategy that get them into the church and get them discipling and moving forward closer to the core of the church. But your homepage of your website, at least, is the lobby of your church. So just like you have a lobby in your foyer or whatever in your physical church, that is your homepage. And if you don't believe me, go and look. This may, again, broad strokes, this may not be true, but for the majority of ministries, this will be the case. If you get with your media team or your tech guy or whoever runs the website and say, let me see users versus new users on, say, the homepage, what you'll find, let's say over 2 weeks or something, or over a month, the more data you have, the better. But let's just say over a month, you have 1,000 users on your homepage. That's the important part because we're talking about the homepage, and 800 of them are new. Right? So it'll be users and new users. If you have 800 new users and 1,000 users, that means 80% of the people on your homepage are new users. And this is usually the case. This is very, very often the case is what we're seeing when we're in ministry websites working with churches and Christian ministries. So that said, your homepage is the lobby. Well, you've got new people there who don't know you. And we then have to understand what can we actually comfortably convince people to do on their very first visit to our digital lobby. Okay, well, how long do we have to talk with them? How long do we have to build a relationship with them? Again, you can go to your analytics, but typically it's somewhere, say, between 15 and 45 seconds, probably closer to 30. I was just looking at a ministry site yesterday that has 14 to 15,000 users a month. High proportion of them new users. They got about 32 seconds. So again, maybe varies for your ministry, but either way, even if you have 45 seconds and you're talking to it, who's the new user? Someone who's struggling with their faith, someone who is angry at God, someone who just had something tragic happen. Like, who knows what the types of hurdles they have to overcome to re-engage their relationship with God, or maybe they were just raised outside the church and they don't know anything about the Christian faith, but they're kind of they're dipping their toe in. Are we really going to be able to take that person, overcome those hurdles, convince them to come to church in one 45-second session? No, probably not. That's leaps and bounds in someone's spiritual life. It's not realistic to expect that from a website. So what can your website do? Well, your website can efficiently, effectively get contact information. And then you can follow up with them, and we have follow-up strategies to build that relationship, to build that trust with them until they are comfortable coming to church. But I can guarantee you is that if you don't get the contact information within that 30-second window, within that 45-second window, they will leave and you won't ever see that user again, right? The likelihood, and this is something that they taught us in sales. I used to be in high-end furniture sales, good times, but nevertheless, when I was in sales, they said, listen, if they leave, even if they say, oh yeah, I'll come back later, you're never going to see them again. And that was absolutely true. I thought it was an exaggeration. I'm like, okay, sure. Yeah, well, my clients never came back at the beginning as I was learning and training. And I learned, no, like if they leave, they're gone. And that's the same thing that's true for your website. If they leave your website and you don't have their contact information, you lost the opportunity to build a relationship with that person. So the purpose, the hidden purpose of your website is to get the contact information from users. Okay, now how do you do this? Because I want to give you a practical strategy for how you do this. I guess I should say the reason why it's holding your ministry back, both online and off, is because you can't follow up and build a real relationship that gets them to church, that re-engages them with their faith if you don't have that contact information. It's not likely that they're going to do that in a 45-second session on your website. And if you can't follow up with them, you're not going to do it with them. So it holds back your whole ministry when your website doesn't fulfill that hidden purpose to get contact information. So moving on, how do you actually do that? We're going to come back to answer that to one of the themes you'll hear me talk about if you follow my videos, but is you have to meet their needs. People want needs met. And this is 100% biblical. Go look at the New Testament. What does Jesus do? The first thing for Peter, James, and John, he gives them fish. What does he do to the blind guy? He heals his blindness, right? What does he do to the paralyzed, the blind, the lame? He fixes their physical needs. He has hungry people in the wilderness. What does he do? Food. He feeds them. So when you meet the needs of your audience, they will come to you because they're so grateful. There's also this rule called the psychological law of reciprocity. Basically, this is just in studies shown that when you genuinely give something without expecting something back, people, they feel obligated to give back to you. And so this is really great because in ministry, all you have to do is bless people in the right way. You meet their real need, and then they will come running to you. And we put this into practice with all of the ministries we work with, and we see it work over and over and over. You can read some of the success stories that we have in our blog if that's something that's interesting to you. But this is a super effective strategy, and we have videos on the strategy as well where Jesus is healing people, and then they follow him all over the countryside, which is then when he preaches to them and shares the good news. How do you get people to give you their contact information on their website? Well, you have to incentivize them by offering to meet a need. So you need to know your audience. You need to know what their needs are. Just ask your church, what are the biggest problems you're struggling with in your life? What are the biggest needs that you have that you wish that could be met? Okay, and then help them find solutions. We'll put the solution on your website and give it away for free. So as an example, here at Clickmill, we do this on our website and it works very well. We get downloads every day, all the time, every day. Now, I want to just preface, I'll tell you how we do it, but I want to preface the reason why I often use Clickmill here. We do ministry marketing, we market with ministries. And the reason why I use us as an example is because the strategies we use to market Clickmill, which is a service business, right? Marketplace ministry, we work with ministries, but we offer a service. The marketing strategies that will be successful for us are essentially the exact same strategies that are successful for churches because you also offer a service. It's just service marketing, right? The alternative is product marketing, and that's different. But service marketing works for us. And so we can spend months and years here at Clickmill with the team figuring out what works. And then once we figure it out, we can I just make a video of it and I'll tell you what works. So here is one of the things that works for us. So at the bottom of Clickmill, we know that when we're talking with ministries, ministry leaders, what do they want? They want to grow. They want to market successfully. They want, this. Okay, so what do? We just give it to them. We just give them what they want. We meet their needs. So what do we have at the bottom of Clickmill? It is a 100-page ebook on ministry marketing strategies. Now, interestingly, we had a church marketing ebook, which was essentially the exact same ebook at the bottom of the website, and pastors weren't downloading it. Ministry leaders weren't downloading it. But when we then flip-flopped and just said nonprofit marketing ebook and just tweaked it to talk more vaguely about nonprofits, suddenly ministry leaders began downloading it. Why is that the case? I have no idea. It still boggles my mind why a ministry leader wouldn't download a church marketing guide or a ministry marketing guide, but they will download a nonprofit marketing guide, but it doesn't matter. And the reason is because they feel that it meets their needs more efficiently. Now, maybe you'll say, well, maybe they're not churches, maybe they're other people, maybe they're just nonprofit organizations downloading. But that's not the case, because I can see their emails when they come in and it's like, Pastor Joe at thecalvary.com or something like that. So it is pastors downloading it. I don't know why that's more appealing, but for some reason it meets a more deeply felt need and they come for that one over the church one. So that to say, on your website, figure out what it is that meets the need of your audience and just give it to them. Maybe it's a 30-day prayer guide. Maybe it's a 7-day devotional series. Maybe it's download the app for free and get access to all of our weekly content, or, whatever it is. Find something that meets their need. Maybe it's a financial class. Maybe you live in an area where people are really struggling financially and you say, hey, we're going to come alongside you. We're going to coach you. We've got financial people here, and, whatever, Dave Ramsey, something like that. But whatever it is, meet their need. Offer a free sign up at the bottom of your website, and you will begin to build your contact list. Now, what do we do after we get the contact list? You're going to follow up with them. You're going to build a relationship. This can be automated emails. This can be a video from the pastor that goes out and says, hey, I saw you just joined our, financial security course or financial peace course. And, just wanted to reach out to you and say, thanks. We're so happy to be connecting with you. We'd love to see you at church, whatever. And you send out a 30-second video and it's automated. Well, now we're building the relationship. Oh, they really care about me. Oh, this is, and then when they're ready to come to church, you're the church that comes to mind. Because why? Because you're the one that's pouring into their life. I'm going to add one more tip to this video so to really drive home the point. Okay. Your email list, your contact list, is the most valuable thing that your church owns. And that comes as a shock when I share that with ministry leaders, but it's absolutely true. Why is this the case? Well, hey, we have a $5 million building. We have a $5 million building. We've got a fleet of vehicles. You're telling me that a list of names and emails is more valuable than that? Yes, absolutely. Because the email list that you have is your direct contact to everybody who pays your salary, who pays for the building, who pays, for all of the ministries. That's how you get in touch with them. Now, a lot of ministries are like, well, we keep in contact through social media. That's where our audience is. And I have blogs, we have videos on this. That's not your audience. If you don't have direct access and one day social media decides to out you, or they have a bug that wipes out their email list, now you don't have anything. You don't have contact with these people, especially if they're online. How would you ever find them again? You won't. And so the contact list you have is the direct access, the door to the relationship to your actual audience who funds everything you do and funds all of the things. So it is the most valuable asset that your ministry owns, and it's critical that you continue to grow it. So the hidden purpose of your ministry website is to capture name, email, and phone number, incentivize people to give it to you by meeting their needs. And this is then going to lead to more church growth because you're going to follow up with those people, build a relationship until they are ready to come to your ministry or engage in your mission trip or accept Christ. And then you call them to an even greater action. So as you can see, it's a process. Don't stop now. We have tons of other videos for you to watch and learn how to reach more people more effectively. If you love this video and you don't want to miss out on what we have coming up for you next, go ahead, like this video, subscribe to our channel, and ring the bell to keep up to date with our newest content. If you want to work with Clickmill personally, head on over to clickmill.co, where you can learn more about our proven ministry marketing strategies. I look forward to seeing you in the very next video.